Nate.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going, man.
We got another. It's a good thing I didn't put money on whether you'd show up to this week or not.
Hey, man, this is 3 podcasts in a row.
3 podcasts in a row. You actually showed up.
3.
I'm very proud of you. I'm so happy.
4? Maybe.
We'll see. I guess it depends on who the guest is.
Yeah.
If we have Willie back, right, you're out.
Yeah, man, I have to cut out. Me and Willie like to cut up a little too much.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 new guests on today.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to just label this one the Crap Talkers Podcast.
And I think we're moving up to maybe hundreds of listeners now instead of tens of listeners.
Yeah, maybe. We might have made it to the 100 of listeners.
And if you're just tuning in now, like, subscribe, share, invite your friend, tell your mom.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we've got Chris Pittman and his son Chandler. Welcome on, fellas.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting a microphone for Chandler here in just a little bit, so stand by for some technical difficulties along the way.
He'll
we're
just
still
pass
looking.
the information to me. I'll just
whisper
it through.
And we're still looking sponsors. If you want to sponsor the Everything in Racing podcast,
yeah, absolutely.
hit up Nate.
Absolutely.
Me.
So, Chris.
Yes, sir.
First question we ask everybody on this podcast: What got you into this world of horrible financial decisions?
It is a very horrible decision. How long does it go back? Obviously, you know my brother.
I don't
Brian.
need to know about the conception when you.
No. You know my brother Brian.
Yep.
He was 3.5 years older than me. So when he got his license at 16, I was 12, about to be 13. So I always hung out with him. And his group of friends were considered my group of friends, you know. So I kind of grew up I wouldn't say a little earlier than I should, but my friends were always older. So when I saw them, believe it or not, some of the older people in Kinston will understand some of these names, but he went to he had a good friend named Craig Bunn. And when I was 13, I saw Craig had a red Mustang. And I said, man, that's one of the prettiest cars I've seen. He gave me a ride in it. I said, I was hooked. I said, I want a Mustang.
The worst decision he could have made for you.
For me, right. Now, my brother, my family was always Chevrolets, my mom and dad, everything. My brother had a Camaro, then got an IROC.
That's some good raising, man.
So if you know anything about an IROC, you know, that was the car back then. And it looked good, but it was just slow, man. It was super slow.
Just to touch on that, I'm hearing there's a new IROC series coming out. You know, they discontinued it for many years.
Yeah.
So there's supposed to be a new series coming back out. I just want to touch on that.
What platform is it going to be?
It's going to be its own series.
It's probably
around
Toyotas running around.
No, I think they're going to use cars almost like, what's his name? Powerhouse, that style, like the 4th gen.
Really?
I think.
Yeah. 4th gen.
Bring back a 4th gen?
Yeah.
That'd be
They're all
interesting.
light anyway, you know.
Yeah. So
yeah.
IROC Camaros.
IROC. He was rocking the Camaro, and I said, you know, when Craig, I saw that Mustang, rode in it was 5-speed. I said, that's what I got to have. And I was very fortunate. At 13, I was like picking with my parents, like, I want a Mustang. They're like, no, we're not going to get a Mustang, you know. Everything Chevrolet. You're going to be the black sheep of the family, first Ford in our family. And we found one that I fell in love with, but we went to the dealership, looked at it, and it was a white GT 1990, and it was an automatic. And I was kind of little bougie back then. Looked at my dad, I said, Dad, I don't want it, it's automatic. I said, if we ride down the road, I'll throw it in neutral and tear it out and put a 5-speed in it, it'd be cheaper. I wanted that 5-speed because they were so much faster than the automatics back then. Now it's completely opposite, you know.
Yeah.
But I finally got lucky enough when I was 14 for Christmas. I was getting ready to turn 15 in March, and they bought me my first car, and it was a 5-speed black GT. And I sat in the yard from January to March, pushing the pedal in and shifting gears, pretending like I was driving down the road. Sometimes I would sneak down the road, but and then when I drove that car, I made my mom learn how to drive a 5-speed. She drove it to work, so when I went to school, she'd come pick me up after school. I drove it home, and did all that. So that was my first taste of fast cars,
first true love.
Yeah. In 1989, 90, I mean, those were the cars. They were fast. If you could drive them, they were the fastest street cars back then. Or, daily driver street cars.
Yeah. We'll get into that.
Oh, we will. Trust me.
Nate, did I ever tell you my first ever car?
I think you've alluded to it before.
Was a Mustang.
Ah.
It was a 4-banger though. it was a four banger. My dad knew what I was capable of, and he started me out in a four banger. He wanted me to be in rear wheel drive, so he started me out in a four banger Mustang, and obviously I put dual exhaust on it.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
So everybody still wanted to race me, but it was just a little old coupe four banger.
Oh man.
But you know, the Fox bodies, man, they were just the car of the day. I mean, I'm assuming Chris is about the same age as me, and yeah.
I'm probably a little older. I'm assuming.
I don't know.
Well, we'll talk about it off camera.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Um,
Neither of y'all are spring chickens.
No.
Yeah.
If it tells you my first car was '89 GT, and I was pretty, that tells you. So after that, I beat the mess out of it. And my brother had IROC, and it was we would trade off on the weekends. I'd be like, Brian, let me take your car. I'd take the T-tops out. I'm going cruising. Back then, you could do that. Go William Street, Benson, wherever. And he would take mine, and I know he was tearing it up. But regardless, that car stood the test of time. I mean, it took a beating from me and him. And one day, my dad's favorite car was a Corvette, and I was like, man, I want one. He was like, okay. So I was very lucky. I mean, my parents invested in me, I guess. They gave me the opportunity. They bought me a Corvette, a 1989 Corvette as well. So when I was in high school, I mean, I'd wake up, I'd go, okay, which one I want to drive? I got a Mustang, I got the Vet. Vet was a little slow. I mean, it was just as quick, but the Mustang felt so much better. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, if you buy me that Corvette, I'll never race it. I promise you, I'll never race that car.
Did you have your toes crossed?
I said all that with good intentions, because I never did for the first 3 months, at least.
Hey, 3 months.
It was 3 months, but when you have the Corvette, you drive it uptown, then everybody wants to race that. They're like, oh, I want to be the one to outrun that, or it ain't fast. Let's race him. And I had to put up with so much junk. I'd be like, hey, let me go home. I'll get the other car. We'll race. And I guess the peer pressure got to me, so I started playing around with it. Me and my brother were, race a little bit. And at that time, he was, again, 4 years older, so he had a big boy job. I was still in high school, and he was making some money. And he bought a GTA Trans Am. It was beautiful back then with the honeycomb rims, And he said, let's go race. I was like, I'm going to tear you up. I'm going to kill you. I always beat him, man. I had a Mustang back then. I said, you don't get used to trying to beat me. We went out there, wound up in the country road racing, jumped out on him. Next thing I know, about third gear, he come by me so fast. I said, what in the world? And when we going down the hill, I saw these chrome bolts, through the trunk under the bottom of the car. I said, that fool has done sprayed me. We ain't got nitrous and sprayed it. He outrun me. We raced for $100 that day, too. He didn't take it from me, but I did owe him that. And
well, with inflation now, I mean, that's probably at least
$1,000
bucks.
Yeah, nowadays that's 3 belts for a Pro Charger guy. But so we had some
first round.
We had some nice stuff, back then. And very fortunate to have it. I mean, me and my brother, we worked. My dad owned the company, and I went to work every day after school at 3:00, worked till 8:00, and then Saturdays 9 to 5. That was every day. We worked for what we had. I paid for half of my first car. I mean, it wasn't all given, but it was.
Yeah, didn't take it for granted. Just appreciate it.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, you were in a very fortunate position where your parents could afford.
Yes. And they sacrificed too for for us. We had the nicest stuff. I felt like car wise, or, different things, and I wanted to kind of do the same thing for him, and give him the opportunities and do the same thing for him that my parents did for me. But in the same sense, make him respect it, earn it, and know the value of it is the biggest thing.
You got to have a little bit of skin in the game.
Yeah.
I was just having this conversation earlier with one of my buddies. He's talking about, sending a kid to college and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm not going to get into all the details about it because whatever. But basically, when we were talking about it, I was like, you can't spend all of the money and send her to like the best place with the best living places with all of the stuff, because if she has no skin in the game at all,
right,
that's just going to be 4 years of partying for her.
100%.
You know?
And I, as a kid when I was growing up, I was like, gimme. But I worked, and I bought stuff. I mean, Lord, every performance part. Now my parents were like, don't tear it up, don't race it. Why are you going to tear it up? And to me, that was just a passion. I mean, I was going to Kinston on, Thursday nights. Go to, back then Dunn Benson, Jacksonville. We were street race. I mean, I hate to say it, but back then times were different.
Yeah, you did what your friends did.
So we would drive to Greenville. We'd race at Hood Swamp. We'd race on William Street. I mean, it didn't matter. We were going to race.
Yeah, back then we didn't see the dangers in it.
No, and it was. Well, nowadays, look out here. I mean, everything's grown up so much. There's houses everywhere, subdivisions out in the country. You wouldn't even think about it. But in 1990, 91 too, you could drive 20 minutes out in the country and have 50 cars on the side of the road or 20 cars, and they want a house within 3 miles. Again, it was still stupid.
Yeah.
But we did some things. I mean, everybody comes up here and says, "Yeah, I grew up racing on street." Well, I mean, okay, how street are you? I don't know. Have you been to jail racing? Have you got tickets racing? I mean, how street does it go? I can tell you, I've done all of them. And I told him not to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
learn from my example.
Exactly.
Do as I say, not as I did.
Well, that's one
100%.
thing about racing nowadays, especially drag racing. I mean, you can get in any style. I mean, I'll be going to a couple of events this year where they're actually racing back at the track.
yeah.
So it's basically being on the street.
Yeah.
And I actually, Nate's more of a prep guy. I'm down the middle, but with the no prep racing, from what I've been there and experienced, it's the world of, okay, you can set up a grudge race out there, call a guy out,
Right.
but if you're actually racing like you're on the street where you don't go to jail, they got safety crews there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the smart way to go.
I
mean,
can see
in
how
all
that
honesty.
took off so much. I mean, it is. I mean, look at Dig or Die. It's probably one of the biggest, races around. I mean, how cool is that? And they rate, for the money. But then again, it's like everything else. There's levels to this stuff. And some of them cars going out there.
Yeah, well, we
beyond.
spoke about this many times on several podcasts now. We've got a few in.
We got a couple in.
We got a couple in about how guys are building their cars specifically. You got to figure out what you're building your car for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that sets up your budget. I mean,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I've helped a couple guys get started on this horrible path of horrible decisions.
Mhm.
And that's always my first question is like, what is your goal? Because I had a neighbor who lives right around the way. He's got a Mustang, and he's like, well, I want to drag race, I want to drift it, I want to drive to church on Sunday, I want to do drag and drive events and road course. I'm like, no, you're too broad.
Yeah.
I was like, keep it stock then. If you want to do all that, keep it stock.
Mhm.
Do not change anything.
Yeah.
I was like, but you got to pick what you want the car for. My only reason I really don't want to do like a Dig or Die or something like that is in the type of racing that we do, right? There's a certain amount of risk in it, and there's no mitigating that,
Mhm.
right? But in Dig or Die, it is so loose and the rules are so kind of out there that the chances of somebody coming across the lane and getting you is so much higher than in what we do. That for me, right? That's where I make the decision for me, and I go, I've invested too much into this car to take the chance of somebody coming across and getting me.
Well, that's one thing. I'm not going to stay on that topic very much, but of all the events that are like that, Dig or Die, they actually have the track's super wide on each side.
Yeah.
I mean, just one lane is as wide as a lot of tracks are for both lanes.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so they actually have it set up. The guys actually took that into consideration, and they have dotted lines painted about 10 to 12 foot from the wall. So if you go outside of those lines, you're disqualified because they know if you try to push it, you're going to get too far out of range.
You're already loose.
And I haven't really seen any guys get too crazy out there, not unless they're doing wheelies at literally 500 feet.
Yeah, which
And
is
so-
ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
out there.
it goes right back to, we really try to highlight safety on this podcast too. If you're spending $1,000 on performance parts, you better be spending $800 to $1,200 on safety as well. I mean, you really have to match it, and that's where I think even this guy, he's out for a year. He come to a realization: if you're going to go faster, you got to be safer. I mean, it's just,
I banged that drum with you guys a lot.
You do, and I do too. That picture was taken at PRI. We were in Race Tech's booth. I understand this. but I'm gonna say something that, I don't know everything about racing. I don't, but I listen to a lot of smart people, and I may be messing this all up, but I just take one of the guys in our group that I'm fortunate enough to get information from is Scott Sublett. Safety, yes, we all want to be safety, but we drive these cars every day. He does. Am I going to halo cage his car that he's going to crawl in and drive to college? Where he drove it all through high school, every day. Am I going to do that? No. But there's different ways about it. What makes it safe? What speed? What industry standard? I've even heard him say it, and it makes sense. A halo cage for your car, a 650 cert, 750 cert, 850 cert. What is that? By speed? By mile per hour ET, right? Don't have anything to do with the weight of the car. You got cars out there that 2,000 pounds.
Well, that's why I look more at the 25.3 spec or the 25.2, because that's based off of the weight of the car.
Right.
And it's like, I think it's 25.3 is for 3,200 pounds and above, and 25.2 is for below that weight.
You take his car we put an 850 cert cage in it, in a Coyote. It weighs 4,000 pounds. 4,000 pounds with an 850 cert cage hit a wall at a quarter of a mile. You got 4,000 pounds of inertia hitting that wall. What is it going to do?
Oh, it's going to total the car.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what I'm saying? And what is it going to be any safer than if he's in a 3,000 pound car?
Well, it could even get into, when you think safety, it could even get into a full fire suit. It could be gloves. It could be a helmet.
Yeah.
I mean, just trying to keep that in mind, or even having your crew. This is very important to say, okay, we've got a crew here. We got this guy, this guy. I need you to be responsible for this and this and this.
100%.
And that way, no one's overstepping each other and missing the ball, because it really matters. I don't know how many times I've seen guys make a pass and someone forgot to take the pin off the parachute.
Yeah.
I mean, a little simple pin can make a world of difference on eating up tires, brakes.
And I think that's a lot to do with your team that you have. It's hard for one person to go racing and try to keep all that on track. But, racing we've done together. I mean, there's a little group of us that we go at it. We argue. We fight. We
talk junk.
And, And but at the end of the day, we help each other out. We do some different things. We see somebody that's not doing something. If he's lining up there, I'm checking all the stuff for him. If I'm driving the car, which I have a couple times, he's checking stuff for me. My brother's there saying, hey, did you get this? Did you check air? Did you do this? Did you check that? Boom, boom, boom. And I'm the same way with him and my nephew. So when we go there, we got 4 or 5 people looking at that going, are you really ready? Are you ready? How many times have you ever been up there and you had your seatbelt?
Well, part of what I did with my team, we discussed it a little bit. Anyone on my team is allowed to pull the plug at any moment, right?
Yeah.
If they think that the track is wet, if there's for whatever reason, I've Nick and Frey that race with me. I've given both of them permission. If they get to a point where they're going, they have my permission to be like, nope, we're not racing today, and I will be okay with that. Right, because. Because you guys know, as the driver, it's really easy to get into that. I can get it down the track.
I can get
it down the track. I know nobody else has managed it today, but I am the greatest racer of all time, and nobody else will understand this. And I can get it down the track.
We're gonna cut just that out.
Oh, absolutely.
And put it in a short.
Yeah.
Little arrogance there.
The little king crown on your head.
Well, but you'll understand this too, right? Yeah. To really get into racing, be competitive in racing, you have to be a little bit arrogant.
You gotta be.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean, I try not to be, but sometimes it comes across that way. I think.
Same here.
Yeah.
But you have to have a little bit of arrogance to show up, right? And go, I'm better than everybody else here, and I'm going to prove it.
Again, there's levels to it, and I never go to when me and him go to the track. I feel like we're always underdogs. We got a lot of horsepower, we got a heavy car, and we got all 10 gears. We got no weight reduction because he just drives it. So I feel like we're a little behind is a code word. But we're going to go out there and race because, I always say anybody can win. Yeah, anybody can win, but you might not go 4 rounds when you're running low 5-second, mid 5-second cars with a mid to high 5-second car. Yeah, you might get that 1 or 2 rounds out the way. Somebody mess up, but it's hard to beat on a car when you you're under gun, and like I said, these things have lifespans. I mean, these 10 speeds are, they live on how many passes are we gonna get out of it? It ain't. It's gonna live forever. Oh, we're good.
6 speeds are the same way.
All right, yeah. Well, I hear. Well, trust me, me and my brother talk every day. I mean,
yeah, but when
number 10, I think.
when you're the underdog like that, you pre-stage with the backside of the tire, and then you back them back through a time or two, and
well, that's where the junk talking comes in.
I'm going to run around to open your passenger door and just close it back for no reason. We're going to get them off their game.
That's how we tried it. Like, first time we met Justin, I think we got under his skin a little bit because you got to talk to him. You got to get something. You got to get in their head a little bit. You can't get in Justin's head, really.
No.
You can't. He's a racer.
Yeah,
he is. But
that
day,
about him.
we bothered him enough that I think he felt sorry for us that he gave us something, and it helped.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
bit him in the butt.
Yeah, it bit him in the butt. But
and he's never doing that again.
Never has. So if we taught him a lesson and he gave us a gift, it worked out well for us.
Yeah.
Again, there's just different levels of this, and we weren't on the same level. we were elementary kids, middle school kids on the high school bus. You know, it was hard. It was a learning experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so you and I have known each other for 5 years now?
Probably 5 at least.
Yeah, 5 years now. And, kind of as this is alluding to and everything, you are probably one of the better crap talkers I know at
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
I'm not dissing you there at all. But, is it, for you, is that just like natural hot-headedness, you think, or just like...
Well, again,
because I've seen layers of it, right?
Yeah. I try to
regular junk talking and then actual angry Chris.
Angry Chris comes out sometimes. Junk talking's going to always be there. I guess I learned it from my brother and his friends. Man, they didn't cut me no slack. Nobody did. And it is what it was, and I had to man up with it, or run home and cry about it. And it's like these groups everybody's in on Messenger and stuff. If you don't got thick skin, you might as well check out.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and if you show any sign of
weakness,
like
sharks with blood in the water.
That's it. You're done. You might as well just take yourself out.
You will end up on a meme real quick.
Beyond quick.
Unless you're David Braxton, in which case you're never leaving.
I just learned that. That was funny. I watched a podcast and I was like, then I got it. That was a good one.
Yeah, well, we just added you to that group chat.
Yeah, I woke up like 2 days ago, and I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, I didn't even add you to that. It was, I think it was Willie added you to the group chat.
I said,
so
I thought I got out of this world, Lord.
Well, so
they drugged me back in.
The whole thing about that group chat is that anybody can add anybody. It's not controlled by one person. It's actually controlled by everybody that is inside the group chat. And everybody is allowed to leave if they want to, except for David Braxton. Because we just think it's so funny every time you keep adding it back.
Trust me. I've been so fortunate. I guess some of my if it is arrogance, it don't mean to come across that. It's just that I race with some of the I feel like are the best people in the business, and they have not only do they have the financial means to do it, and they have the knowledge, and what knowledge they don't have, they're not scared to admit it and go get help, and they find the right people. You think about I race with John Dock. I mean, look at the cars where he's been and where he's at. Shannon's another one. Look at that car. I mean, you want to talk about two people going at it and push each other to make each other better. That's like me and my brother. We push each other like, hey, you can do this. Put some more time in that. It'll be all right. I'll help you if it blows up.
Yeah.
You're on your own, but but them two are they push each other every day, and they go faster and faster, and that's one thing we've done with his car. We've hit a plateau with it. I mean, it is what it is. We think we're running bone stock, unopened motor, anything, and 21 pounds of boost in it. And now we're sometimes it spikes up when we're on the limiter for the trans. I mean, it could be 3 pounds. 23 on a stock. No sleeves, no everything. So we know where we're
any harder than that.
We didn't mean to do it in, but we know where we're at. We know what we're doing is not the smartest thing, but if it breaks, we'll start scouring the marketplace trying to find a way to fix it. Like all the parts we've got for it. We got parts from some of the best people. Everything come off his car was secondhand, I say, and he bought it himself, working after school.
Now I got a question to ask because we did have your brother here.
Yes.
Is your car stock?
Oh, bone stock.
Because we heard this so much. We just got a stock Mustang.
Yeah.
Now, okay, this is our regular PSA that we put in here every now and then. Just as a general reminder, all drag racers, not just particularly that one or the Pittmans in general, all drag racers are liars. So,
well, we stretch the truth or admit it is what it is. We are completely unopened motor, completely, even down to the stock intake and everything. Being friends with John has allowed me to be on the YouTube channel and go to PR and do different things and meet different people. And I put a shout out one time. I mean, obviously we watch the internet. We know who's fast, the recipe for coyotes, and it was at the time then it was Auto Welds building the Midnight Turbo kits for Midnight. Auto Welds was doing it. Lund tuning. I mean, that's the recipe. And he was 15 when we bought the car. 15 when we bought his Mustang, and we made a promise to him that we would have some sort of boosted Coyote for him, because one of his friends had a car for sale. It was a 2014 first gen with a F1A 94, some gas. It was a beautiful car, blue car, but it had cloth interior, some different things, and we were like, okay, Chandler. I mean, his mom was like, well, why don't we just get a new Mustang? It's nicer, it's new. He's like, no, I want that one. It's got this stuff, and he made her promise. I think we went to the dealership, started looking at new cars, and she goes, you want that car? And he was like, no. Why don't you want a new car with heated seats, air conditioned seats, all this? He said, because it don't got that blower on it.
Because it's slow.
And I said, well, honey, if we get this car, we promised him that we would do that later on. She says, well, okay, if you want this car with that stuff on it, would you take it? He was like, in a heartbeat. But you got to promise me that we'll put it on it. And she said, I didn't say when, but she said she would. So, long story, how we got all his stuff was I called and put a shout out on John's channel about Auto Welds being the best turbo, kit maker there was, I felt like. And somehow he got up with me. We got up together and started talking about some parts, and he was like, hey, we can work something out. Let's do something. In exchange, I want you good friends with TKM and all them. I want one of their short blocks. I was like, we might can make this work. Figure this out. So I got to talking to him and figuring some things out. Now he just turned 16 and was driving this car to school every day. Now my wife's family farms, and after school he went and worked on the farm. And I'm thinking, how is low mount turbos, probably no filters, going to work when he's got to drive a quarter of a mile down a path to go get in a tractor? I said, this might not be the smartest thing, and that's a lot of power.
Yeah.
So let me talk. So me and Eric from TKM Cornbread, we're pretty good friends, and we talk about some stuff. And he had just won the TKM Dyno event they had with his car, and he made 1,021. And I was like, that's nice. He said, oh, man, we drive it, easy, blower. You keep your foot out of it, no problems, no power, low RPMs. It's easy to drive. I was like, that's what I need. So I worked out a deal with Eric. We bought his Pro Charger stuff. He built a motor for Auto Welds. Auto Welds took that, built Eric a turbo kit. I don't know all the financial stuff about how that worked out, how much money, but we got the blower, and he bought it with his money. Put it on there. He did, and put it on himself. Shout out to my best friend Ellison Williams. He let us use his shop with a lift and everything in it, and helped us if we needed anything. But we started the headers, and that was a 3.5 day process of one full day. Yeah, we had the whole blower kit put on, the whole bumpers and the everything else.
We're going to pause real quick. Our microphone has finally showed up.
Bam.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
All right. And magically a microphone has appeared in front of Chandler.
Da-da-da.
I don't have to be quiet anymore.
Yeah, the magic of editing.
Now he's going to probably tell me how bad of a parent I was.
Yeah. Well, he's just sitting over here going, man, I could have gotten away with all this street racing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this. Building that car, me and my wife were super nervous. I mean, 16-year-old driving that car to school when it dynoed 1,022 on like 19 pounds. But it was a blessing in disguise in a way, because honestly, every group of people he is, other than the racers, all his friends that have Mustangs, Camaros, and stuff like that, didn't even try to race him. They were like, "No, don't mess with Chandler. That makes things like 1,000 horsepower." Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So it kind of worked out in our favor, where I don't think there was anybody that really wanted to ask you to street race that, was there?
No, unless there was somebody that like legitimately was unaware of what the car was capable of. That was really the only people. If I was out in town or something like that, then I had people pull up beside me. They're like, let's go, and I'm like, nah, So, but
you don't want the smoke.
Yeah, they don't even. Most people really don't understand, but yeah, like most of my friends from around home, they never even really thought about it. So,
I mean, we've been meticulous about the car to build. We've got 3 different sets of rims. They're all the same, but they all got different tires. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've got the PP. Our favorite rims are the PP1s, and we've got the set of SSs. We've got a set of R's on the set. We got his Michelin's on the set. We
got the welds.
Yeah, at one time my wife was so mad at our garage. We had 5 sets of rims for that car in the garage, and she was like, "That's enough. Yeah, that's enough."
She was upset about the rims, man. We had to.
It's like shoes. You got to have more than one pair, you know.
Yeah, you don't never know who's going to call you out.
I got 2 sets of rims for my car. Yeah. Although to be honest, I don't think it's ever going to go back on the street rims.
Really?
Again.
Well, you might want to drive it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm using them as rollers.
That's expensive rollers.
My performance pack rims are rollers.
Yeah. But hey, look, hit me up. We need another set, maybe.
Yeah. Whenever I decide to sell them, I'll let you know. All right. But yeah, so you and I, or us as a group, has only ever raced against each other twice, I think.
Twice.
Once at Galat, right after you guys had bought the car.
Mm-hmm.
It might have had some tuning done to it.
It did.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on 93. I remember that.
Yeah.
I only had the rear drag pack.
But before that, before we raced against each other, I was told 100%, no, we haven't tuned on it. We just bought it. And then after the fact, it was like, I won, but not by much. It was
it was a close race.
It was a close. I thought I'd lost. Honestly,
Here's how I felt it went, and I could be wrong because my memory's how I want it to be. Like you would pull out on me a little bit, and then I would catch you back up,
on the gear
shifts, and it was like this a little bit. But I felt like something was wrong with the car, and then I wound up talking to Lance. This was our first 10-speed tuned car, and we had it in drive instead of sport mode and drag. I put it in drag mode. Then when you do a burnout and you back up and do something, it comes out, traction control come on, the little nanny plug. So we learned a lot. We did lose to you, and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
You made me go put nitrous on it.
Yeah.
And E85. E85.
Yeah, so I thought I'd lost, and then I actually took Nick pointing it out on my ticket that I won, and I was like, oh, holy crap, I did win.
Yeah.
And then that was on a Thursday night at Galat.
Thursday night. Yeah.
Sunday, Kinston was having a test and tune or something, and my phone starts blowing up.
We were ready.
My phone was blowing up, and everyone, it's like, Chris is here, and he's talking so much crap about your car. You need to show up. And I'm like, I'm at church.
Chris is over there like Dave Chappelle. I got you, bitch.
Hey, look. Hey, where's he at? I got you, bitch. I got this figured out.
Yeah, and so we never ended up running again that year because I broke the MT82 not too long after that, and then I swapped to Turbo 400, and you avoided me like.
Yeah, it was. I did
hey, Chris,
because
Chris,
I was
you
like,
want to race? Chris,
yeah,
you want to race?
that was. I felt like there was different levels to it, and I was not there yet. We had stock transmission then, didn't we?
Yeah, we didn't. We've raced less since we put the built 10-speed in than we did when we had the factory.
Yeah,
and you're gonna have to get real close to that microphone.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Well, when you say
inhale it.
you say
that's perfectly fine.
Built, it is clutched up and everything, but there's still,
stock gear ratios or
everything stock's just clutched up, and they don't last. Obviously, I know you got different
It's really
people
the
say
seals that don't
yeah.
last inside those transmissions all that well.
I feel like it's the clutches because ours is still banging off the limiter every shift, you know.
Yeah.
But we're in the process of we're going to either we got something in the works. We build another car simply because of that question y'all asked. You know, the infamous question. What's your definition?
I've been hearing.
Are we about to dive into that?
Well, I've been hearing rumors about this car.
We'll get into that, but the whole 10-speed thing is, and I've heard rumors that Power by the Hour is possibly designing a drum type transmission for the 10-speed. That it might be in
like
the
they
work
did for the 6R80.
Yes.
You know that's
the rumor.
That people that we know race definitely don't have Zach Patterson.
Well, listen. I'm like this right here. He has drug us. That boy has drug us. And matter of fact, we got his fuel system, don't we?
Yeah,
we had his fuel system.
We bought the fuel system off his car.
Off his midnight, the first white car, and because it didn't have enough fuel system for when he wicked it up, and we've changed it over too. But everything was second. I want to say second hand, but
charity,
but enough that he paid for it himself. He worked after school and all that, so I'm not saying anything.
He got some skin in the game.
Yeah, he bought his rims. He's not all the PPs ones, but
I don't need to hear about his PPs.
Yeah, not the yeah. Well, I don't either. But Zach's.
He left that joke out there.
Yeah,
okay.
Zach's just fast. Zach is.
I don't know. The fastest coyote in this area is definitely Birch.
Okay. Again, there's levels to this, and I'm going to tell you a conversation I had. Jonathan and Wayne, to me, are the baddest, prettiest, cleanest build coyotes in North Carolina. Now, Woodside built that chassis, and I think Competition Auto has bought it, and that is tight, and that's going to be in the running. But that's a shop. I consider that a shop car, even though that's out of their money in their pocket. That's a shop car. Yeah. I'm talking a private individual, two that are local here, that built these cars, and those are people that I ask questions, like, to learn stuff from. Jonathan is a wealth of knowledge. Let me tell you this, the fuel system we upgraded from Zach Patterson came from Jonathan Birch. He gave it to us. Yeah. He was like, man, I want to see a young kid go out there and do something, and it works and all this. He says, I don't want anything for it. I want to see him go out there and have a good time. And that's just how he is. That's the person he is.
He's given me a couple parts for my car.
And you can't ask for anybody that, he's not hateful. He don't want you around his build. I mean, I when I walk up to it, I'm just nervous. I don't want to touch it, scratch it, or anything. But it's that clean. Now, that being said, those to me are the fastest and the prettiest cars in North Carolina right now. I think Zach Patterson is probably the overdrive, I would say, if you call it overdrive.
Semi-street.
Semi-street.
Yeah,
he can drive it anywhere. That car.
Semi-street,
listen,
overdrive.
It hurts me to say it. He's the man. He's tearing them up. He's traveling everywhere, grudge racing, making all this money, which that's just something me and Chandler or my brother were never going to do. I mean, we work hard for our money.
I can't put $10,000 on the line.
Right. I know, and I'm the same way. It's not that I think I'm going to lose or win. I don't care about that. But I never did this to make money, or I felt like when I bought a car part that I had to make some money back to pay that, because this is all this I invested in with him when we bought his car was those times coming back from Kinston, especially Kinston because it's an hour and a half. Me and him, he would drive his car. I would ride with him in it. We drive it there before we got the trailer, and hour and a half ride back, man. Him driving and me talking, and
just conversation.
Yeah. And when a 16-year-old wins $150 out there, oh God, that's the world. He's gonna eat large at school. He might have 2 extra slices of pizza or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it was those were the best. That's why I did it. And my time's up temporarily. My time's up with the racing. I feel like, and I get that much enjoyment. I get enjoyment out of seeing him. It's a nervous enjoyment. It's my only son.
I enjoyed the one pass I had against you this year at the Renegade King race.
Yeah.
We
lost.
Well, I mean, but as you said, the cars are different calibers, right?
Yeah,
they technically fit into the same class.
Yeah.
But the cars are different calibers.
Right. Right.
I have about 300 pounds on you guys. Lighter.
Yeah.
And the setup of my car
Mm-hmm.
was just set up a little bit better for the conditions that we were in
Yeah,
that day.
Yeah. We still run. We bought your shocks. We still run stock shocks, front, back, stock springs, stock K-member, everything.
The car is stock except for the blower.
I mean,
Realistically-
And the transmission.
well, like realistically, blower, fuel system, drive shaft, transmission.
So let me ask you this: are we telling times? Is it okay?
I'm perfectly fine. I'm
for
perfectly
me,
fine.
like, in
I'm,
that-
I'm telling my times now because I'm out of it for a year right now. Honestly, the only reason I wasn't telling times for a while was because your brother kept calling me complaining about me telling times.
Well, yeah, because we were racing you all the time.
Yeah, because I was racing next to him. He's like, well, if you're telling that, they're going to be able to guess ours. And I was like, Brian.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
a smart person can look at them and almost get close to telling.
Or you
that's
can
true.
film it on your phone and go,
Yeah, the average
ding,
person.
ding.
Yeah.
You know.
If you've been around the track for a while, you can say, yeah,
So-
520 car.
Yeah. I mean, the 70s, 80s is what the car. I mean, it is what it is, and that's fast for him driving it to school and driving it home and all that. But we for us to make it faster, we would have to change up to everything on it. And I was like, I want to keep the integrity of that car the way it is, and I want him to keep that car because I sold my Mustang and I wished I never did, and I miss it to this day. I've bought a lot of Mustangs since then and have a few and had some, and I don't want him to have to look back 20 years and go, I wished I had kept it. You
Well,
know?
we had the same conversation with Royce Joyner when he was on, and he was talking about his SS Camaro. I mean, excuse me, Chevy SS,
Chevy SS.
Yes, Chevy. That's
and
a
how he's
beautiful
building
car.
another car because
Mhm.
you reach a point where, okay, do I want to dissect this car or do I want to keep it to
Mhm.
what I love about it,
Yeah.
integrity? You know, that's what you said. So it's either you can dial it back some and maybe you're going to do some drag and drives or just go do something, more
Yeah.
enjoyable, or you go all in. Once you go all in,
You
can't bring it
Can't
back.
back up.
I mean,
you
it's-
can't back
it's
up from
hard.
there. Well, your first car was we bought from a friend Wes, who's on the channel with John. Started out a lot. We bought his '08 Mustang 4.6 with a tune, Bama tune, and nothing else. Right? Maybe cold air kit. So he was 14.
I was 14.
Can I say this about Benson?
Go right ahead.
He was 14, so when we bought it, I'd sneak him out there, put him in there, and we go down the track. And
Poor Dave.
what?
Poor Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did that for 2 years while he was 15, and that was a fun car. We get in it, crank it up, drive it to the track. I don't know how the tires stayed on it all year. We would every time we left the yard, we were doing a burnout in that 4.6. Bless its heart, I don't know how it stayed together. We killed it, and it to this day it. When he was 16, I was like, "Why don't you drive that to school?" He would never. He drove it one time. It was so low that exhaust hung up on the school speed bumps and pulled the exhaust off. So
I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if my car hadn't ruined it for me, type deal.
Mhm.
yeah, because I think he was running 8.6s when he was 14, 15. 8.6, and we bought his car on a Wednesday or Thursday.
We bought it midweek, and then we were at Jacksonville Saturday, and it ran. I think it was a 779 on some 235s.
Just your Michelin tire, whatever.
It was the cheap dealership tire. Whatever they put on it.
That's what it was. It went, and we were like, okay, we got something to work with from there on.
Mhm.
And that's what your mom was. The only time she's
That's
into
only
the
time
track,
she's ever been.
she saw that, she went
Coyote
pretty
power.
quick, with a highway tire. So backing up, we have been beat on, and we go and I call it class fillers. We try to fill the class and support it, and we raced, and we wound up in the Renegade list last year because of people. What is the word I'm saying? Not breaking down or changing or hurting their car. It just worked out where we raced our way on. We were 10th place and we finished in 3rd.
Mhm.
And it was because of longevity. I mean, we put 3 passes on the car every 2 weeks. I think they raced, or a month, I think. And
I know it was at least once a month, but I think it might have been every other week. They had the.
They had test and tune just about every week, and then they didn't. They had Renegade like every other week or something like that, or every 3 weeks or whatever it was. But they didn't always have our class
Right.
every
Right.
single time.
Maybe
you
that
know,
was
I think
it's
they
kinda
had
weird,
they
but-
had list racing and then they had a shootout racing. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to whoever runs the Renegade list. It is, to me, phenomenally held. They did a great job. You paid your entry fee back then, and every round was $50. And for for him at 16, 17, he would go out there. We would have to defend the spot first, and then if you win, you could race your way up. And it was 3 rounds a night. You could go, and he won all 3 every time. Went from 10th all the way to 3rd. So every night we went, he was coming home with $150. He thought he's doing something.
No, Jason Jones had a hand in that, and I believe Billy Shivers as well. But I know Jason Jones. I believe they inquired of him to come and manage that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they did not. They're not doing this for money. They're not making anything off of that.
No,
they're allowing us to get up there and go and giving the money back to us. And I thought that was pretty stand up.
Yeah.
One night they didn't question it. They paid it, and we went home happy.
Yeah.
He kept $150, and I spent $50 getting in fuel getting us down there.
Yeah. The only one that was funny to me, the when I raced my way on, they were advertising that night for our class as a $500 guaranteed payout.
Oh, really?
$500 guaranteed payout. I guess they were trying to drum up more people for the class, right?
Yeah.
I was the only one who showed up.
Really? On the race your way on?
On the race your way on.
Yeah.
And so they came to me afterwards, and they're just like, hey.
Yeah, some things I can understand.
They're like, hey, I know we said it's guaranteed, but you were the only one to show up. And one part of my brain goes, it's not my problem.
Well, I mean,
then the fair part of me goes, okay,
yeah,
I
you're
get
right.
it. They gave me $100,
hey,
which is what I paid to get in. So
you race for free the rest of the time.
I raced for free. Which that was perfectly fine with me. I didn't raise a stink about it. But that little voice in the back of your brain that you shouldn't listen to was going, no, they guaranteed $500.
See, I can't shut that person up back there. That little guy back there.
We know he comes out.
He comes out. I mean, the first race with David, it came out. I didn't mean to, but if you advertise a daily driver, and you say we're going to drive, do the drive. That's all I'm going to say. Or else you're going to hear my mouth. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's what I was pushing him on when we had him on here. Is I was like either, honestly, my opinion, right? Nate's opinion, if you have a daily driver class, every single race, you should either have the drive or at least the 15-minute idle in the lanes, right?
100%.
Every single time. Because, let's say he said, hey, we're going to do it once, right?
Right.
Well, let's assume he does it on the second race, right? What's to stop all of us going, okay, well, he did it on the second race. We've got 5 more races. I'm going to get rid of all my street stuff. Because now I know we're not going to. Now I know we're not going to do it again. I'll drop 200 pounds out of my car, and
makes a difference.
And it makes a difference, right?
I was saying, you were involved in this, so I was a little perturbed about that race because we didn't do the drive, and here I am racing. He's got a 2019 Mustang, and we're sitting there racing Antonio Jackson in the daily driver class, and I think even Forrest was in it, some other people, and I felt like, back then I thought, daily driver, you drove it every day. Now, I know these cars probably can be driven every day if they want to.
Not cars on methanol, though.
Yeah, not cars on methanol. So we get to that story. So I was already guns out, from that race. No drive, this, that. Pull up. They said pull into the staging lanes, leave your car there. Well, if you pull in there and putting fuel in it, charging your battery, or changing your nitrous bottles, that to me, that's not daily. It wasn't then. Again, everybody's definition is different. I've learned that. And the definition is perfect of a daily driver is, your definition of it is, what anybody faster than your car is not a daily driver. That could be said. But we left there and took my nephew's car, and we went to Fayetteville to race. Some guy in Georgia put this on. I don't know if you remember that. It was supposed to be one power adder, modern muscle daily driver.
Doctor.
Well, that's what I was going to get you at. There was, there was a Gangster GTR, which Brad Cook, I learned, super nice guy, fast car. There was some Mustang in there on Holly, with
TKM motor,
all this stuff.
Sticking out of the hood,
no seats, hood exhaust, and Boost Doctor was one of them. There was another big tire car. Yeah. And I was
Brian
like,
with
you guys got
personal best was in there.
Personal best was in there.
I was out there.
Yeah. You guys got a McDonald's wrapper over in the floorboard.
Yeah, basically. So we're looking at this going, one power adder, and you're letting Boost Doctor into daily driver. And I'm not taking anything from Boost Doctor. Let me say that Boost Doctor is one of the fastest, and he knows what he's doing.
I'm trying to get him on the podcast.
I would love that. I watch his video. I mean, he's a master at what he does, and he's got some fast stuff. But would you consider? I mean, would you?
Well, so here are the rules of this class. The rules were very, very simple, right? Single power adder only, air conditioning, and working windows. All right.
But now, what do you consider air conditioning?
Yeah,
windows down. I mean, I don't know.
I can definitely tell you, I like Boost Doctor again. I like him a lot. He did not have air conditioning on that car.
Yeah, or a radiator.
Yeah.
But so I voiced my opinion again, and I think that's when
I've gotten in trouble for that rule too.
Yeah.
So,
I think everybody took
you
me.
had a toggle switch under the dash, man.
Yeah. Air moved.
Look at her, and he said he beat us twice. I wonder if it was one of those times. So really, now you defaulted. Really, I'm just.
You had
so if you turn that fan on going down the track, is that a dual power adder?
Yes.
On your car?
That'd be a triple power adder actually at that point.
Yeah. So we need to get. I don't know if we need to get into that stuff, but so by listening to all this happen is what's caused us to we're building another car.
Yeah. That is where the famous Brian, the nitrous isn't a dual power adder. It's just
we had to argue that. You had to argue that. I mean, when the promoter come up there and we said, okay, I'm not. We didn't want to race Boost Doctor because he's the fastest. I mean, it's all there is. You might as well just hand him the money. And he came up and said, well, he's running his big wheels, and we were like, okay, all right. He's still, him on 24s or whatever. I don't know what they are. He's still fast, and we were nervous, but we kind of accepted that. And then when he drew that Mustang, I think, and I think he blew the tires off. He put the 15s on it. Remember, but before he ended that race, he had 15s on it. Regardless, I think he was spinning down the track on the big end, and the Mustang outrun him, and we wound up. I think we got third place with my nephew's car at that race.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, for all that, but
I got knocked out second round by Boost Doctor.
Boost Doctor?
Boost Doctor put you on the trailer.
Yeah.
Was that with or without the 15s?
I was on 17s at that point.
No, talking about Boost Doctor.
He had the big wheels.
Was he still on the big wheels?
He was still on the big wheels.
Well, that's even worse.
And he spun on the start line and tracked me
He
down.
just annihilated you.
Mile per hour,
dude,
so bad.
My Roush was trying it was blowing its heart.
Were all of his taillights working on their car?
Oh yeah, you could see them clearly. You could probably park a Greyhound bus in between us.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Boost Doctor. He's quite a unique.
Yeah.
Car situation.
I didn't know who he was before that event.
You learned real quick.
You found out.
Well, so like we go for trip draw in second round because I got some BMW first round and I beat him. I was happy about that. And then we go for chip draw, and he doesn't even show up. They just wrote down whichever one he was going to be ahead of time. It was number 2 or something. And I pull my chip and they're like, "Oh, you're up against Boost Doctor."
We knew it.
I was like, okay, who's it? So I walked back to my trailer, which was parked next to y'all's trailer, and you guys were like, "Oh, who'd you get?" I was like, "Boost Doctor." And they're like, "Oh, bye."
Yeah.
See ya.
But when we showed up to that race, it was supposed to be a modern muscle. Agreed. I mean, it is. But that's how I am. I guess I'm literal. When you say a rule, I want to go by it.
I think, post COVID, car count was a major factor, but I'm thinking we're getting to the point now where we can. Really think that the sport needs to start cutting back on that, because right after COVID, I mean, just getting car count and getting people back out to the track. I mean, nobody really put statures on it. They were just happy. We were all just happy to be back around our friends in the racing world. But I really feel like it's been long enough now. Lord willing, the C word stays away.
Yeah,
and we're able to start getting more precise on what is what in each class. I just think it's more fair. Like I said, I can see the time frame of why some of that stuff happened. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if you lined up beside a 4-second car and you were a 10-second car. You're just happy to be out there taking a tree. But really now, they should really get back to it.
The whole thing about that was I told you I try to do everything I can for him, and I never want to set him up for failure. Does that make sense? Because he enjoys racing, probably not as much as I do, but I think he enjoys it. But I mean, as being 16 and 17, and I'm telling you, oh, you got a chance, and you're racing a 4-second car with your back then, let's say low 6 seconds, before it got fast, and I just never wanted to set that expectation of him never achieving anything or winning. So I guess that's why I was so precise about if the rules stated this, we were going to go by it, simply because I felt like I was protecting him in a way. And again, you learn that the rules are written on a sheet of paper that doesn't have lines. I mean,
so the first rule earlier about any drag racer is they'll tell a lie. Number 2 is they will bend the rules.
There's a gray area between
there's a gray.
They will,
literally.
If there is a way to bend the rules, they will bend it.
Well, I'm going to say this again, alluding to the car we're building this year. I basically have said, me and my dad and Brian's got a little hand helping. We're doing some things, and actually it's at Sean's right now. Sean is actually building it for me, finishing it out, and it is. I just talked to everybody I've talked to get all the information I could, and I said I'm going to build the car that I argued about why they were into class, and I'm going to build it that way. And now we shouldn't have a problem with it sticking in any of them, but I want to hear somebody complain about it this time, Yeah. And that's we ain't even named the car, but we were saying it's got to be something about stip this or something. I don't know.
I mean that's why I need
anybody out there that's got a name. It's an 18 Camaro 6 Gen. It may not be fast, but it's going to be pretty.
Yeah. That's why I named my car Emotional Damage. Right? Because every time we've got that car right, the complaining starts like immediately.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to race you either. You know what I'm saying? If it is what it is. You don't want to, you have to, but well,
Well, and it wasn't like I was calling you out either.
No,
it was just we ended
no.
up against each other in a list race.
Yeah.
100%. And I ate a tree, or I ate a sandwich on the tree. And I still was able to come around.
We run pretty good that night. It wasn't a personal
you
best.
cut a pretty good tree on me too.
He's better than me
on a foot brake.
Yeah, foot brake is it's not fun on the tree.
Yeah,
it's not consistent as I needed to be.
Believe me, that was like when David came out with the rules for last year, and I saw foot brake only. I was like, just write Nate under it. Nate, no trans brake.
Yeah.
I think it's good for a street car class though. I don't feel like if you trans brake in a daily driver, top deal, daily driver, whatever it is, I feel like
it's a part that came on a stock transmission. It's perfectly fine.
I think some Corvettes could utilize it. Mustangs can utilize it and different things. I understand that. I'm
running a stock transmission.
We'll see. We'll see how they.
Yeah.
We'll see how they.
It's not the stock one that came in my car, but it is a stock case transmission.
So we're going to try to get into some of that racing. I'm mad that you changed up your car. Now you're going to be in a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, there's levels to this, and we're just one step behind. But if we could catch you when you're on that plateau where you're making that turn for the next steps, we might catch up with you then.
I'd say catch your brother first.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that hurt. Yeah. No, you know what though? I've been so proud of them, and I feel like we. Like me and my brother are close. We talk every day. We're gonna go down together. We're gonna go down swinging together, or we're gonna high five each other, or we're gonna hug somebody. It doesn't matter. We're gonna do it together. And I'm proud of them for what they've done. I literally talk a lot of junk, but Brian's very, very and Logan. Logan's gonna talk some junk. Don't get me wrong. It is what it is. Brian does too. But they are very humble in a lot of times situations where I'm the one out there going, yeah, well, we're 2/10 on that. We ain't worried about it. We got it in the back pocket. We just trying to let somebody win, so that way they don't, complain and we don't have nobody in the race next year. You know what I'm saying? But I really think that's probably one of the fastest first gen. Truly, it's got some rods in it. It's crank. The crank was stock, and they put a stock crank back in it.
Well, everybody runs a Boss 302 crank.
Yeah, well, no, it ain't even a Boss 302 crank.
That's the one that comes in.
Yeah, not in the first gen, right? I don't think it's a Boss crank. It's just a forged stock coated crank.
We'll have to ask Hauser. That was on the last podcast.
Yeah.
Because they did have the Boss Mustang, but that is the crank people go with. But that block is not sleeved. That's the original 14 block non-sleeved. I think it's probably one of the fastest non-sleeved
stock block
coated
the thing I've
ones.
been banging on your brother on, when I talk to him, a little bit, like, I understand going for micro records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I'm also looking at safety.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And having experienced an engine deciding to let itself going down the track. Left and right, at the same time. Yeah. I can tell you, like, there's no amount of talking ahead of time someone can give you to walk you through that situation. Right. And I barely got through that situation. I really don't want Logan to go through that situation.
Yes. Well, we did put a diaper on it finally, and I mean,
I had a diaper on mine too.
Yeah,
so.
That stuff is definitely needed. But when I say micro, it is a micro record. I wouldn't say it's a record because we don't know.
Yeah.
And who knows if unless you open somebody's motor up. But
well, you do hang out with John Dock, the king of the micro records.
I will say this: them boys make something fast though. Him and all of them. They got a lot of toys around there. I'm gonna say a lot of toys.
But he'll look at it and be like, "I've got the fastest," which he does no time most of the time.
Right.
So that immediately disqualifies you, in my opinion. Right? If you're running no time, sorry, it doesn't count. Because I run no time, and I could claim I'm the fastest coyote on the entire planet.
I won't be honest with you.
Don't check
that no time that he runs. A lot of people see that ticket, and he will not lie on that. It is fast.
Look,
he tests a lot. There's a lot of fast stuff.
I'm not denying that he's not fast. I'm just saying, if you want to claim a record officially, the boards need to be lit.
The LS record, he did light the boards. I think that was
the solid roller cam.
Hydraulic roller.
Yep.
So he did light the boards up for that.
What did you do that? Orangeburg?
I think it was Orangeburg. And it had a chance to do it at South Georgia. We were down there, and the converter just went apart. But I mean, again, there's John. I consider him a good friend, and I appreciate what they've done for us. I mean, this Camaro we're building. I've got Chris, his partner. Chris has helped us with this. John, I call. I get to go to PRI and be in a booth with Race Tech. I mean, how cool is that?
Those seats are pretty cool.
Yeah, they are nice. Everybody needs a seat.
Got one in his car.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's nice.
So, Circle D, I get all the connections from him. Pete's building the converter. It'll be here Monday.
Which Circle D just bought Reed.
Yes. Yes. So. I don't know when they're going to start their. I think they're going to wind up. I feel like they're going to wind up doing more like transmissions. I think they might get into that whole package.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that. But if Power Ride Hour doesn't come, when they develop that, if they do, the 10 hub, I'll be on that. If not, we got his transmissions going to have to go to Midnight. I think they're probably one of the best True Gear 10 speeds. But meeting Pete at PRI and dealing with him when I ordered a converter, I mean, how nice is that? Tell him what you need. And John's been a blessing. His YouTube channels reaches a lot of people.
Talking to Brian about, he was talking to me at some point about ordering a converter.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you're going to get a custom spec, not just something off the shelf, which I think they ordered something off the shelf.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're going to get a custom spec, though, you have to tell the truth to your to your converter guy, right? Don't exaggerate or under exaggerate anything.
Yeah.
Right? If he's like, what's the weight of the car? Tell him the actual weight of the car.
Did Brian send him a non-disclosure form to sign before?
Yeah, we're talking about that. We're gonna be sticky.
So I use JW converters. They're down in Florida. They built a converter for my car this last year, and because my transmission guy uses them a lot, and he was like, "Look, just tell them the truth. Just be straight up with them on everything, and you will be more than happy with the converter that they turn out for you." He's like, "But if you exaggerate anything, or you underplay something," he's like, it's not going to be as good of a product.
Right.
And that's borne out, right? Yeah. And like when they were, when they were doing it, they're like cams, converter, like transmission gear ratios, rear gear ratio, tire size. Right. What RPM do I want to leave at? What RPM am I going to be shifting at? Like they wanted to know everything about the car. And then they're like, okay, cool. And like 2 weeks later, I had it.
Yeah. So Circle D, we had to do that, but Pete, I mean, they're so knowledgeable. I mean, they can pretty much tell you what, before you get it out, they know where you're going with it. But we did for the Camaro, we did the bolt together one, so we ain't worried about it. We're gonna change stator out and go. If we add more power, take it out. I mean, that's one thing about John. He's like, if you're gonna do it right. What is it?
Do it once.
Pay once, cry once. You know. It's hard to do when you don't have the budget they have.
Yeah. I mean, this new version of the build I'm doing, that's kind of what I'm doing with this one. I'm like, look, it's all apart.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
100%. So it's racing and it's expensive.
Yeah.
The faster you go, the more it is.
Yeah. We might have to put our first question on a shirt or something at some point.
Yeah.
You just put everything racing on the front, and then what got you into this horrible world of financial decisions?
Yeah.
This world of horrible financial decisions.
Yeah. Well,
I probably could have had a house.
Yeah.
You could have.
I mean, I could be moved out and renting somewhere if I didn't have my car.
Yeah.
Not that I would, but
Yeah,
but you wouldn't be cool sitting on your front porch.
Right.
You gotta be cool going down the road.
We battled a whole lot when he was 15, 16. We actually bought him a Duramax. 2012. Originally bought him a Duramax, and because my wife's family farms, and he goes to a country school. I say Midway is probably country, and everybody's got trucks. There's not many cars out there, but then when he get around his cousin and his friends and all that, they had Mustangs and different things. So we were kind of torn which way he's going. And then he come up to me and says, "Hey, I'm gonna get some 24 by 12s or 14 wide American Forces." I said, "No, you're not." I said, "You know what that's going to do to the wheel bearings on that truck? Nice truck. You're going to tear it all up." He goes, "Well, if I can't have those rims, I don't want the truck."
I was like, "Well, if I can't make the truck what I want it to be, what's the point in having it?"
So then he said, "We're going with a Mustang." So now that's the Duramax I drive.
Yeah.
The one he turned down, I guess. So
the one that you tow his Mustang around with now.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, you got the truck. Either way, Dad, I need to borrow my truck that I didn't get.
No, I used to do. The car was like, if we were working on it. Whenever we had to put the headers on for 3 days, that's probably what I drove. But thankfully he didn't mind. He's got his car. We kind of interchange between all of us every now and then.
Talking about bad financial decisions. So you might know this. So we go, he needs a truck. We got to get him a truck. Farms, driving here and there. A friend of mine had this, I call it Virgin 6.0 liter Power Stroke.
Oh, yes.
Never had a tune on it or anything. It's a nice, clean truck. It was pretty. But when we got it, he drove it for about a week or two, and it started having them hard starts and all that. Next thing I know, we putting $6,000 worth of injectors and plugs and all this in it.
Injectors, oil cooler.
You named the 6.0 stuff, right?
6 liter maintenance.
So he's driving it, and then they go, the last time the guy says, "Well, good thing about it is that's it. That's everything. These transmissions, they last forever. Don't worry about it."
Why did he say that?
So he's got, now we've got a $30,000 6.0, I feel like.
And it's not even studded.
So we were like.
Yeah, I bought mine studded.
Did you? Yeah. We were at that point, and the guy building it, he goes, "Man, I don't know if I'd even touch it. It's been around this long, just put the ejectors and all that, and because it was never tuned to begin with, and anyway, so he did that, and we just got cars are our vice, man. He'll be when you pick.
It's better than drugs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fact.
It might be. It's not cheaper, but it's
got to be a close runner-up.
Yeah.
I think.
Mom hates. Well, she's not a fan of the cars, and she's just kind of like, need to just leave it how it is type deal. And I was like, Mom, could be doing crack, Mom.
Yeah, I told someone this past week. They were saying, post your life advice. I said, don't do drugs. Become a drag racer. That way you can't afford either one.
Yeah,
that's it. You won't be able to afford it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I sent somebody something the other day along those same lines. It's you don't want to. You want to not get into trouble. Actually, you want to be a go-getter. Become a drag racer, because you're going to need so much money to afford it that you're going to be working all the time.
And I expect him, if I ever do, hopefully a long time down the road, have any grandchildren, I'm going to watch you buy them all this stuff. I want you to work so hard.
Do my best.
You're gonna be showing up and being like, "Hey, you want to go junior dragsters?"
Probably that'll be it.
Ask Daddy if you want to get him into junior dragsters.
That's what he's gonna probably buy him for Christmas. He's gonna give him like, oh, you
Well,
want a set
listen,
of tires,
we're so family. We've got a great family. My mom and dad. I mean, they really do a lot for us, and still to this day, we're me and my brother getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
My parents enjoy it. They just want to help out and do. My mom was so worried about him, she wanted to buy the cage, so she put the cage in his car, and she bought the parachute and all that because he said he wanted that. I mean, just some things that they did and really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
I call it sponsoring.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
your mom. Every time I come
Yeah.
to the track, she comes ask me where. First of all, she's like, "Where's the baby?" And I'm like, "She's with my wife, who's not here."
Yeah.
Although there was that one time I did show up to the track with the baby without my wife, and everybody freaked out.
I remember that.
Yeah. It's Angie. I had to go and help. I think helping somebody do a burnout at the track, and so I was like, Angie, could you watch her for a second?
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, absolutely. I was like, hey, I can help you. I turn around and she's gone.
Gone with the baby.
Her and the baby are gone.
Eventually, I think eventually, I ended up with her. Me and my girlfriend were walking around the track with your baby, and people were looking at us like, God, they're young.
Yeah.
They got a youngin'.
Hey,
Yeah.
she's gonna. I hope she remembers these moments with you. I hope he does. Cause I do. I mean, I enjoy it so much.
Oh, I take her to the track every opportunity. I took her to the track the other night.
Yeah, we saw her.
And 100% though, if we're out there and she goes, Daddy, I want to go racing, I'll get her a junior dragster.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I've already made enough poor financial decisions. Why not that
Why not
one?
another one?
Yeah, why not another one?
Yeah.
If I can take her to the racetrack.
Keep the river flowing.
Yeah.
Just keep it going,
You just got to go make it every day because somebody has it out there. You just got to figure out a way to go get it and do it and hustle. And I told him, I said, as long as your grades are up, you're still in school, and you doing like you doing, I'm gonna do everything I can to help you. And it's it can all be taken away or given away tomorrow. That's on him. I mean, when my first car, my dad handed me the title. He said, "This is your car." He said, "Nobody can come take it away from you." He said, "It's paid for, bought." He said, "Now you can give it away or you can get it taken away." He said, "But nobody can come get it from you." And I told him the same thing. I said, "There's decisions you can make at this age, doing things that can cause you to lose this, but it'll be because you made those decisions."
Mhm.
And he's a good kid. They're all kids. Don't get me wrong, but he's been a good one. So.
Yeah, it's just being around good influences, man. It means a world of difference.
Yeah.
Well, Nate,
I think it's time to
What do you
wrap
think,
it up.
man?
Probably.
have we learned a little bit about Chris today?
I think we just scratched the surface.
Now when he
Scratched.
leaves here, he's gonna say, "I should have talked about
Oh, no,
part two."
Part
We'll-
two.
We'll just put a P number 2 up there.
PC2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, there's times where I try to get in Nate's pocket. No, that won't me. Never mind. We'll talk about that one night.
But so you are building a new car. You're
Yes,
looking
sir.
a name for it.
Looking the name. So anybody got out there? Comment.
It's a 2018
2018 Camaro.
Gen 5 Camaro,
6th gen.
6th gen Camaro.
Yeah,
Okay.
6th gen Camaro. We're hoping to we were hoping to run a personal best every time we go out, but
But that
we're hoping
name's
to-
already taken.
yeah,
so
that name's taken.
You're
So
gonna have to name that car the complaint office or something.
yeah, complaint department.
HR.
HR. There we
that's-
go. We'll call it HR.
We might be HR then, but it should be it should be getting is close to done, and when it does, give me about 3 months to gloat while yours is not running, and
Oh, mine's gonna be down for a lot longer than that.
So
Yeah, she hasn't
HR
even-
I guess, or
She
unless
hasn't
somebody
even gone
comments
to
something
chassis
better.
jail yet.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up there. Where can they follow you guys if they want to follow you guys?
I don't really use anything like that.
Yeah,
man, to be
that's
honest.
one thing we're going to start doing more. I never put all our stuff out there, on social media or anything. I just didn't feel like I wanted anybody to think we're appreciative for what we have and not braggadocious about it.
If
But,
you do watch the John Doc YouTube channel every now and then,
Yeah,
you'll see
please.
the ugly Chris Pittman up close
that's
shot
it.
where Chris is like,
Yeah,
to
that's
the
me.
camera.
That's me. But we're going to start posting some more stuff just to be appreciative for all the people that's helped us, like the converter and some different things. Again, Sean Stodds, I know you know him. He's just been a blessing, help help me finish this because I'm at the spot where we're done. So he had to take over.
Shout out anyone that helped you or
Sean
donated.
Stobbs, Circle D helped. Well, I mean, we paid for it, but Circle D's good. John, Chris Howe, all of them.
Yeah.
You guys, man, Nate, we just bought. Got anything else you want to sell?
We'll talk about it.
Okay,
We'll talk about it.
We're gonna have some of emotional damage on the car, hopefully, right?
Yeah. Well, right now, there's a bit of emotional damage in a lot of cars.
Yeah. So we take it. We'll take anything we can get.
Yeah.
And,
Al's bought, or not Al. Royce has bought some of my stuff, and your brother's bought a couple things for me.
Yeah.
Always got to have it at a deal, though.
Right.
know?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's what it's how we can afford to do it.
What do you mean it's not free?
I mean, my favorite Brian line, and I get it all the time from your brother, is like I'll post something up for sale, $700 or something like that, and he'll be like, "Well, what do you sell it to me for?" I'm like, "Why are you special?
Well, ain't we supposed to be friends?"
Yeah.
Speaking of Al, you used to have a quick 6-gen fast Camaro, but you might not no more.
Coming for that spot.
Man,
Coming
for
that
for
spot.
you.
Coming
Coming
for that.
for you.
Stepping on necks right now.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Good
go.
deal.
Well, as always, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at the Fast Plumber on Instagram.
And I am Ernie at 105Life, Facebook, TikTok.
All right.
Awesome.
And we're going to have you guys sign the hood back here before
Love
you
to.
leave.
Yeah, man.
Hey, if Chandler don't want to take it home, it's perfect for his car.
Yeah, he can't have it. So, but all right, gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up there.
Thank you guys for having
Yeah,
us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys coming out.
All right.